Good morning and welcome to the Christian Indie Writers Podcast, where we inform, encourage, and support Christian indie writers on the journey toward publication. I'm Jennifer Carl Tong, and I write historical Christian romance.
I'm Christina Cattane, and I write Christian dystopian fiction.
I'm Jamie Hirschberger. I write short fiction under the pen name J.R. Nichols.
And you may have noticed that we're missing one of our beautiful faces on our screen. Rhonda is here. Rhonda is trying to get here. She is having some major tech issues. And boy, have we had a morning already this morning. Like, I was late, probably 20 minutes. I was here. I just couldn't get tech issues like ironed out. And then Rhonda had tech issues. Like, she was here. And then all of a sudden her computer started acting up. And it's just, we had a moment of prayer, and Rhonda's still going to try to join us. If not, she's going to be in our chat. And speaking of our chat, we just really appreciate everybody who shows up every Friday. Like right now already, we've got Leah is here. She says, Tina, looking good. Love that sweater. I agree.
I know.
Looks very warm.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes. Teresa's here. Good morning, Teresa. Shell's here. I can tell that there are others that are here lurking but not chatting, and that's okay. But we'd love to have you say in the chat, just kind of say hello so we can get to know you. But we also really appreciate those of you that listen to us as a podcast after our live. And for those of you that, whether you watch us live or you listen later on Apple or Google Podcasts or Spotify, we're everywhere. No matter how you do, we really would appreciate if you would like and subscribe. It really helps us and helps other Christian indie writers to find this great community that is around this show. All right. Well, we like to start each episode with a segment that we call What's Up. It's a time to check in with one another and see where we are in our writing and our personal lives. So I'm going to start with you, beautiful sweater, Tina. What is up with you today?
Well, I spent the whole break getting my office how I wanted it. I got bookshelves. I put stuff on the walls. I got a little cart. I just did a lot of work. It took me almost the whole month, and I feel like I have this space now where I can be creative. So I'm really happy about that. And I also wanted to mention some of our chatters that are usually here are sick this week. I don't know if they want me to call their names, but we should just keep them in our thoughts and prayers.
All right. Appreciate that.
Tina, Are there any stories about the little dolls you have on display behind you?
I wanted to tell you about this one. This one, Jennifer and her daughters found in Detroit and gave it to me because it reminded them of Angelica. And I especially love this little basket of forget-me-nots that she's carrying. That is the Alaska State Flower. So really beautiful and cool.
I love her outfit with the fur trim. I am envious of it. And the cute little boots.
We were actually at a thrift store. We love to thrift, my girls and I do. And I went looking and I saw that. And I was like, oh, I have to get this for Tina. And it was very cheap, even though it was a very nice doll. I know that it cost somebody some money. And it was like less than $10. And I was so excited. And I just went, I don't remember if you weren't feeling well. I don't remember what was going on. And I just went and put it on her porch. I drove into Flint and put it on her porch and then drove away and said, check your porch. I didn't even I just left it there for her. So that was a while ago that we did that.
Yeah.
You should have knocked and left only the doll there, as if the doll had knocked.
And this one I had since I was little.
Aww.
It has a little papoose on its arm. This is real seal fur.
Wow.
The natives that live in northern Alaska are subsistence hunters. So they are allowed to kill the seal and whale and walrus for subsistence reasons, because that's how they've survived for millennia. And part of what they do is they take, so that they don't waste any part of the animal, is to take the skin and make these cute little things with it and sell it. And that adds to their income and helps them to survive. So then the tourists come and buy them, and that's how that's one form of income. And I'm going to have to put that back later because it falls over. I have to
Well, I'm going to go next because I have to, because this is my What's Up.
Oh,
for those of you that are listening, you're going to have to go to the YouTube channel and look. I'd like to introduce everybody to Molly. She is our brand new member of our family.
I like her fur coat too.
I do too. So she is a double doodle. I've been saying for a long time that I wanted a bigger dog. We have 2 little ones, but my husband sometimes has to work out of state, but we also have allergies. You can't eat that. We have allergies, so we have to have something that's either a poodle or a poodle mix. And we had found this breeder that he's so great. They just basically have their own dogs that they live on a farm, and their dogs live the best life. And then they have, they raise puppies. Well, I was going to get one for my birthday. I wanted one around my birthday, but then my son decided he was going to get married around my birthday. So I can't have a new puppy and then leave the state, So anyway, was not thinking puppy at all. And they posted pictures that they had some left from this litter. And this beauty was in the middle. And I'm like, gosh, I wonder if it's a girl, because that's what I wanted. And I just kind of like on the post, I said, oh, boys or girls. And I'm like, please let it be a boy. Please let it be a boy. It'd be a lot easier. He's like, one in the middle is a girl. I was like, oh no, but look how cute she is. And so I'm like, well, we already had finished our Christmas shopping, and it was not like, I knew what they call, and they don't charge a whole lot there, but it was still more than what we could do right now. No bite. And he messaged me. He knew I'd been looking for a while, and he basically said, I will give this to you for like dirt cheap. Like, just out of the kindness of his heart. He's like, I don't do this for money. I do this to give puppies to families. And he loved my girls. And my girls had gone out and played with his dogs for like a couple hours. Like, we were there a long time this summer. And like, it was just great. So like, so this is Molly, and we love her very much. She's still a puppy. She's still at that stage. So anyways, that's it. I'm going to give her off camera. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Thank you.
She doesn't want to go.
So that's my what's
how
up.
Sweet. Everybody in the chat is excited about the puppy. Yes.
Speaking of the chat, let's look at the chat real quick. Let's see. Shell says her what's up, finally coming out of the COVID haze, mild symptoms, but it's been almost 2 weeks. I'll praying for you, Shell. That I got the booster over the break, and the booster kicked my hiney. So I can't even imagine what would have happened if I'd gotten it, because it was bad. Leah says, what's up? Finally done with holiday madness, getting her brain back into work brain, giving myself permission to read and fill up with ideas and inspiration. And then she says, no bite. Then she couldn't stop herself. Molly's so cute. She is cute. She's doing really good though. Very few accidents in the house. She already knows sit. She already understands no bite, but she's a puppy, so we're working on all of that. So she's doing really, really good. So, all right, Jamie, how about you? What's up with you?
Well, my beautiful, amazing friend, Amanda Reddy, gifted me a copy of the Daily Stoic, and I'm going to shoot myself for not having it up here. Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. It's 365 days of quotes about Stoicism, and it's really helped me with my journaling because I transcribe the Stoic quote there. Excuse me. And I didn't even think about it until today, even though I was still trying to correlate, because in my journaling time, I would correlate already what I knew from the Bible to, because I've been journaling every day based on the quote. I'm like, oh, why don't I copy down a scripture too? So I've decided I'm going to do that on the opposite page so that I'll have like a record of all of that. But so today I'm going to correlate Epictetus's discourse 4:11, 6-7. Epictetus was born into slavery and then became a philosopher. And the fact that he was positive and stoic throughout his life as a slave is very encouraging to me when I get into a pity party about woe is me, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because this fella was kind of living his worst life now. And he was still, muscling through, however you want to say it. So for January 7th in the Daily Stoic, Epictetus's quote, "The proper work of the mind is the exercise of choice, refusal, yearning, repulsion, preparation, purpose, and assent. What then can pollute and clog the mind's proper functioning? Nothing but its own corrupt decisions." And immediately when I read that, I thought, it's not what goes into a man, but what comes out that corrupts him. So I'm going to read that particular scripture. That's from Matthew 15, 17 through 20. Do not ye understand that whatsoever entereth in at the mouth goes into the belly and is cast out into the draught, but those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile the man. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashen hands defileth not a man. And that's what I wanted to share for my What's Up. A little bit of food for thought.
I appreciate that, Jamie. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
All right. So still no Rhonda. We're hoping that she'll get everything up. And if she does, we're just going to add her in. So if randomly you see her beautiful face showing up, it's because all of a sudden she got her computer fixed. So we're hoping for that.
Yes, we're hoping for it.
Yeah, because today we're going to be talking about goals and ideas for 2022, which now, if you have followed us for any length of time, right around this time last year, we did a whole big focus on business plans. And if you've even followed us for a little bit, you'll know that at the end of last year, we revisited our business plans and discovered that maybe that whole system didn't work great for us. Now, I will say, I don't think that it was like entirely bad, because it did help me to focus a little bit more than I had before, and to realize that I needed to be able to be looking at things instead of just kind of like just doing and hoping that everything is organized, right? So, but because this is our first episode in the new year, we needed to take some time, we think, and look at goals. Because don't you agree, ladies, that at the end of our last episode, which was before Christmas, we talked about how it's good to set goals, right? Whether we hit them all or not, we have to have some sort of goal. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my head is just still reeling that it's been so long since we were all together. Sorry about that. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. You can't hit a target you can't see. I don't know who said that, but I really like that quote.
Yeah, I agreed.
And for me, I need to focus on my destination so I can get the journey right.
Right. And I know I need some sort of goal setting system, and I know that I need some sort of organization. I just haven't found it yet. Right. And Jamie and I are, even though we're such good friends, we are very opposite. Right. So whatever works for Jamie is not going to work for me. Whatever works for me is not going to work for Tina. Maybe Tina and I are more like in our Clifton strengths than what Jamie and I are, I would say. But I know I need something. Leah kind of agrees. She says, I'm not good at goal setting. I have loose set goals, but I get disappointed if I don't reach them.
I think Leah and I are very similar. We have sort of some similarity of background. And I think that she's inclined to beat herself up the way that I am, which can really prevent you from setting a goal. Because if you don't believe you're going to reach the goal, and, you just don't bother to set one. So that's interesting.
So when we were planning this, I agree. I think that she's very similar to you too. When we were talking about this episode, Jamie and I think we're both kind of like, what are we going to talk about? Like, we don't know what we're doing. We don't have a plan. We're like, we would feel totally fake coming in here and saying, all right, let's set some goals, people. When I know I personally am like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I just got to get back into a focus, because this last year, every year something happens, right? I have so many externals, but I've shared before that my mother has Alzheimer's, and she was hospitalized a couple different times last year. And what I didn't know about Alzheimer's is that hospital stays actually make their memory plummet. Any sort of major change. And so they're not being at home, like, it makes a huge difference. Well, my mother, it's happening rapidly. I'll just say that it's been very stressful. And so that takes a lot of not only my time trying to help my dad, but also my creative energy, right? Like, I'm worried about
like your
her
emotional bandwidth is all sucked up with worry and anxiety. And then how do you make creativity happen when, you've got so much interference happening?
And I thought that losing a loved one was rough, but slowly losing a loved one is even worse. So I almost feel like losing all these people that I love over the past few years has almost kind of been preparing me for this that I'm in. So having said that, just kind of giving some background for me, getting a little personal. I didn't have a plan. And then we all looked at Tina, and Tina has this great plan. And we're like, Tina, wise sage.
What about that?
Yeah, well, it's a new plan. So we'll preface it with that it's something that's new for you. That you have Tina, do you know you don't have your headphones on?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
All right,
Yeah,
let's
the
try that.
sound might improve if she plugs
Right.
those in. Meanwhile,
So
can I just say we have Gigi in the chat? I know it's been a while since she was able to join us, so I just want to say hello, Gigi.
Hi, Gigi. So it is something that is new. I'm going to mute you just for a second. Right there until you're all set. So it is something that's new to her, but that she's trying. And so far, she's started before the beginning of the year, and the system is working for her. And I'll tell you that just the little bit that she's already kind of shared with me, she's going to share with everybody today and more. So just the little bit that she shared has started inspiring me already, and has caused me to go out and start working on kind of similar. I'm starting to copy her. I'll just be honest, starting to copy her. So Tina, let's I'm totally off our outline. Let me go.
You're doing a great job, honestly.
That was
All
a
right,
great
great.
introduction.
Oh, you
Awesome.
sound much better.
Yeah, so much better.
I'm so sorry. I had them sitting right here.
So Tina, what made you realize that you needed to change something? And now we talked in our last episode that we all knew that we needed to change, but you really had a revelation that let you know that you needed to change what you were doing.
Yeah, the business plan thing that we did last year did not work for me at all.
And why do you think that was?
I realized that I buy planners. I have got an entire shelf of planners in my closet. The problem with planners for me is I use them a few weeks and then I never open them again.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. And so I was thinking I need some way of planning that I can't not see it.
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking online and I found this lady that I looked at what she was doing. I'm like, I could do that. That would be right there. It would be right in my face. I couldn't miss it. I'm going to do that. So I started watching her videos and I took a course that she offered. It was like a 1-week course. It was called HB90 Boot Camp. And she basically shows you how to plan a quarter at a time. So it's not a true business plan. It's more like a quarterly plan of these are the goals I want to reach this quarter. And these are the steps I plan to take to get there.
And before you did this, you had done some self-discovery with Becca Syme, right?
Right.
You had
Well, I've been doing monthly coaching, not with Becca herself, but with her staff. I'm a Patreon. I'm on her Patreon for $25 a month, and part of what you get for that is monthly coaching. So I know that I should question the premise. Like, do I need a business plan? For me, it didn't work. I didn't look at it when we had that episode about the business plan. I had not looked at the business plan since we did the episode about business plans the year before.
Same.
Can I just pause here though, because I think personally how I feel about it is that possibly the business plan is not necessarily supposed to be what makes you write words. Possibly the business plan is to make sure that you're profitable as an author and that you're paying all of your expenses and that you know what I mean? Like think of it as like maybe we were using the business plan as like a motivation tool when possibly that isn't the role of a business plan for our particular author business, because I don't think it's wise to not budget, to not have like fences around how much money you spend on courses and things like that. So I'm just kind of trying to say that we shouldn't maybe throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Agreed. Because when I looked at my business plan, even though I had not looked at it again, there are things on there that if I had not put them down with pen and paper or laptop and screen, then I wouldn't have done those things. right? I wouldn't
Mhm.
have had that focus. So I do agree with you. And plus, it's something you can go back to when you are either losing focus or you're like, wait, what did I budget for that? So yes, I do agree
Yeah.
that there is some validity to it. But
Like, do
for
a
an
business
everyday
plan, but
Mhm.
then also do something for goal setting.
and to keep you organized on the daily
Mhm.
or the weekly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So that's what I did. I saw this lady's thing that she had put a Kanban board right on her wall. I had tried those electronic Kanban boards. Same
Mhm.
problem as with the journals. I didn't
Same.
look at them. So they didn't do me any good because I didn't look at them. So I'm just going to tilt my computer so you guys can see that what I did. So it's right next to my desk.
There's no ignoring that.
And it's huge. It's 4 feet tall and it's 3 feet wide. And I put the calendar. She didn't have a calendar. I put the calendar up there with like all my important appointments on there so that I don't forget them because I
Mhm.
forget them. And then the Kanban board system is this is all the stuff I plan to get done in the first quarter of this year. These are the things I'm working on currently, and these are the things that I've finished down at the bottom. And it feels really good to take those sticky notes and move them.
I messaged you at one point and asked you a few more questions after we had our planning meeting for this because I was starting to get excited about doing something like this. And when you're talking about the sticky notes, I'm like, oh my gosh, that just speaks to my soul. I'm that person that will write something on my to-do list that I've already done that should have been written down, but I didn't write down and I did it just so I can cross it off, highlight it,
Yeah.
check it. So moving the post-it notes, I think for me is this internal, like really great motivation that is going to help me for sure.
I do
Yeah,
have
it
some
reminds
advice though.
Okay.
Go
Mm.
ahead, Jamie.
Well, it reminds me of those star charts you used to do for your kids, like if you were potty training or if you were trying to get them to do anything, and you would let them
Mhm.
put a sticker to fill up, the space. Yeah.
I have one on the wall right over there for Athena.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say for yourself. I want
No,
stickers too.
it's a princess one and little princess stickers, and she gets to put one
Aw.
on when she uses the potty. So my word of advice is when you go to purchase your post-it notes, if you're going to put a Kanban, this is dry erase wallpaper.
Wow.
So it sticks to the wall and it's dry erase. And I stuck it to the wall. All these black lines I did with washi tape. But buy extra sticky post-it notes.
Because
Don't
they
buy the
won't
regular one or
'cause they'll
you'll end
fall
up
off.
with this.
Those should be for Athena to play with. That looks like fun.
I ended up with buying 2 packs of 36 Post-it notes because the first one was not extra sticky
Oh.
and they kept falling off.
I don't think I knew
So
extra sticky Post-it notes existed.
I didn't either until they kept falling off and I had to find out why.
So, Tina, I know I derailed you from talking about the quarter, like every 90 days or whatever.
Mhm.
So you also decided you had to do every 90 days or something.
I
Quarter,
love
like what
this.
was that?
Yeah, so and this is like a whole like Clifton strength thing. But because of my strengths, I need when I make a goal, like I feel the pressure of that goal when I first make it. And then the further I get away from having made that goal, the less I feel that pressure. Especially if the end is like a year from now, then I really stop feeling the pressure. And so I need like the end to be closer to the beginning. So I go from this place where I feel the pressure to it starts to subside to here's the pressure again because here's the deadline that I made. So
Mhm.
that's why and a true like setting a deadline and saying, okay, I'm going to publish my book on this date doesn't work for me because my brain knows that there's no consequences in the real world for me if I don't do it. There's not a publisher. I'm the
Right.
publisher. So there's no
Right.
publisher out there that's going to yell at me like so to say for me to say this is what I'm going to get done in the first 3 months of the year that works for me. And then I can see my progress. I also bought a happy planner. So I'll just show you my.
We had a lot of comments about planners, by the way. Teresa says, same thing. Planners, me too. And yet I always want to buy more. That's me. Like I love them, but I honestly don't
Oh,
end up
yeah.
doing them. Leah says that
Planners are
she's a
like the
planner addict.
containers. Yes, planners
Yeah.
are the container store of the brain. Like, you
Yeah.
go into the container store and you think, my life will be organized if I buy one of everything. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so that's what a planner does. It gives you this like promise of an organized life.
Yep. And so because I have this thing on the wall, it triggers me to look at my planner,
Oh,
which
good.
every night before I go to bed, I evaluate the day and I make my plan for the next day. So I've had to, there's some tweaking because I was underestimating how long it was going to take me to do things and overestimating how much time I had in my day. So
I'd love to stop there for a second if we could, because being inspired by you, I went and looked, and the woman's name is Sarah Cannon. If anybody's interested in looking, not a Christian. She seems like a pleasant person. There is some language, not a whole lot. Just be forewarned if you are with children in the room. But it's not bad. It's not bad. But anyway, I went and watched some stuff, and what I have gained from watching your videos is, first of all, I her course is not open. So if you want, you can watch a bunch of different videos that she's done over the years, but it will take her an hour to say something that I really only need 20 minutes of. So just be, you can speed it up or whatever, just be forewarned. But what I got from her already that I love is that how to figure out how much time I actually have, and doing what she calls planner math, I think is what she calls it. And I have figured out that I have sometimes only 10 hours or 10 days a month that I can work in some of my months. And I went through the whole year and figured that out. But once I figured that out and figured out how long it takes me to write a book, how long it takes me to edit, I did all that work. I've discovered that that's okay. Like I can still probably get 1 to 2 books out a year with still helping my dad out, with still having all these external things happening in my life. And that has brought me peace. Right. So like I was overestimating how much time I had too, Tina. But have you found that it's given you peace to know that, to like to figure this out?
every day when I look at so I'm just want to show you, they're like, this is my week.
So color coded.
Yeah, I did it so because I like the colors and it makes my brain want to look at it.
This whole episode makes me want to eat a bunch of Skittles.
So these are my days. So I do the same thing. Like at night, I do the day. This was
So
yesterday.
Tina, we have some people that are audio only. Like, how are you color coding? Just verbally, quickly run through that.
So okay, so it's basically a dot grid. There are some lines around. There's boxes. So each row of the dot grids is a 30-minute block. This is how she calls them task blocks, or I think is what she calls them. I don't know. Anyway, each little line is a 30-minute block, and it's designed to be a Pomodoro block. So 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of a break. So the breaks are built in. And so I have my time that I'm working on my book, I have it color coded orange. Everything I do for my book, I color coded orange. And I just took a colored pencil and I just kind of lightly colored in those blocks. Like those are the blocks. Those are the 30-minute blocks. I have 8 of them a day of I am going to work on my book. So 25 minutes of work to 5-minute break. And then I have my paying job, and I teach a Bible study. So all my church stuff, my devotions and everything like that, I color coded purple. So, and I'm trying to lose weight and eat. I transitioned to a whole food plant-based eating, and so I have like my plan of what I'm going to eat in here too, and that's in green. So that's basically what they're all like springy bright colors.
And then do you use the coordinating Post-it notes? Are the same colors on the wall?
Ask, yeah.
Yes.
No, you good. Yeah.
All of the Kanban board on the wall is just my book. I decided like I could have done my book and my job and my health right here. But I decided like the reason that I'm doing this is because I need to be able to make progress on my book while still working at my regular job, still studying for the Bible study that I teach, and still eating healthy and planning all that,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on that. But the big thing is my book. And so this is all my book. So the far left is like the writing and revision editing part of doing the book. The middle is social media, newsletters, blog posts, and Facebook posts in my VIP group. And then this is like the formatting, cover art, back blur, back and front matter kind of situation, all the way on the right.
See, that's where I'm struggling right now, is that I feel like I just need to focus on my book right now. I'm not ready to do anything else. But at the same time, it's like I don't know how to pick my goals, I guess and so I'm working on that. Um Also, she does her Kanban a little bit different than a normal Kanban. She does it from top to bottom. And I'm going to show you, I'm just going to throw this behind me here. I've started working on something because as you can see, my office is still in disarray from that flood we had months ago, and there's still repairs that need to be done. So I can't finish up my office right away. So I need to have something kind of portable. So I just took like a foam board and but I did it like a traditional Kanban from left to right. And here's why I did that is because if I tend to go back and forth between pen and paper and digital and pen and paper. And if I end up liking this, but I end up doing a digital to go along with it so that when I'm on the road or I'm out, I have a digital version. It's going to be set up like this, like a traditional. So for me, for
Right.
my own, the way I work, I did that, but same idea, like master plan, what I'm working on this week, the post-its will move over. And then when I finish them, I get to put them over here. So if anyone is more minded like a normal Kanban, you can still do it that way.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be up and down.
And she says that too in her videos. And she's
Mhm.
like, this is just how I do it.
Right.
So, and the one thing I really like is there's like an evaluation at the end of each day that I do, but she's got questions at the end of each week and at the end of the month where you can evaluate what you did and change it. Like you can change it on the daily
I
basis
love
if you
that.
need to do so. And because I don't really have a lot of context for revision. So I put aside like a certain number of days to do my red light issues in my revision.
Mhm.
And it's tomorrow is the end of that time that I set aside, and I'm not quite done. So I know that that takes me a little bit longer, because I didn't factor in my thinking time.
Mm.
Because I'm a high intellection. When I like, there were scenes, and I can show you. Like, well, chapter 15, it felt really good. I tore it out. I just
Good for
like
you.
tore it right out because like I was really struggling with how to change. Like, okay, so I have like all the orange is stuff I'm taking out
Wow.
because it's part of the storyline that wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
And so out it's coming. And so, but I have to replace it with something. Chapter 15 was all orange, like the entire chapter. This is
Mm-hmm.
chapter 16. And I was struggling with what to do with it. And I was like, do I even need it? Nope. Out it came. That
Good
felt
for
really
you.
good.
I bet it
But
does feel good.
it took me time
Mm-hmm.
to think about it. I had to go through several I would say half a dozen ideas that I fleshed out and rejected before I came to the conclusion that I didn't need it and I could tear it out. And
So
so
this is
that's
why
what I
this is
didn't factor into my time when I was trying to figure out my time blocks.
so that's one of the positives about this system is that it's only done quarterly. You only do it every 3 months at a time. You get to go do a weekly review and a monthly review so you can like see if what's working. And as you move forward with it and continue to use this, you'll get a better understanding of like how long it takes you to write a book, how long it takes you to edit a book. Like right now I'm guessing because I've edited 3 books, but I don't know how long it takes me. I've never kept track. And this will
Yeah.
help me to figure that out so that it makes it easier to plan and just gives me more peace of mind when I sit down. Well, now I have to edit this book. It seems so overwhelming. Well, no, I can look at the calendar and say, I'm pretty much going to be done at this time, because I've done it over and over again and kept track. So, all right, great.
And if I
Again,
had a red highlighter, this would have been red instead of orange because these are my red light issues. It bothers me that it's orange instead of red. Like, oh,
All right, Tina, is there anything else that you've done that helped you or that you've changed in your organization or?
just like, like I bought this cart. So all my stuff is right here where I can see it. It's not like tucked away in a box or under a cabinet or in a closet like it was before. And like, this is my favorite thing. This is my pen carousel. Can you see it?
Yeah, that's awesome.
This makes me want to write in my planner
That's awesome.
and do my planner because I have colored pencils, I have markers, I have all these are dot pens. They make a perfect dot. It's like a circle. So when you're marking things off on a list, you just touch it and it makes a perfect round circle in whatever color. Like, I love these things.
That's awesome.
I have colored Sharpies. I have these that are like pens that write like a regular pen, but it's just colored ink. And it makes me want to do my planner and look at my planner and
But
write
more
in
than
it.
just your carousel, I would say that you spent time making a creative space for yourself.
I did. Yeah.
And that makes a
Yeah.
big difference. Versus not everybody, but with your Clifton strengths, I would say that helped you too. Didn't that kind of kickstart the whole thing? Was that maybe you found this system, but you're like, all right, and then you redid your whole office and set
I
it up,
think I saw her Kanban board on the wall.
and that started
And
it.
like I wanted to do that. And then I put that up on the wall and got my washi tape out. And then I was like, but I hate this carpet in here because this used to be my boys' room.
Mhm.
They're all adults now, but they shared this room when they were teenagers. The carpet shows that the teenage
like if
boys
you-
lived here.
Yeah, it's like when you get a new armchair and then suddenly all your other furniture looks so dingy and you feel like I've got to
Yeah.
do something with this room. Yeah.
So I can't show it to you, but it's like peonies. They're orange and pink and yellow and green.
Like your book
blue.
cover.
Yeah, there's like all these color peonies. Huge. It's a rug. I just throw rug that takes up almost the entire room with these brightly colored flowers. And I just put it over that nasty carpet. Then after I did it, my husband's like, well, we could put some pergo down. And I'm like, well, we could still do that.
Right?
It
Nothing's stopping
inspired
you.
him, so I wasn't complaining about that.
That's awesome.
And I bought myself some bookshelves, so all the books I use on a regular basis, I don't have to try to go get, because I have a closet over here with bookshelves, and then trying to find the books on the bookshelf. So they're right here. When I do my devotions, I just reach back and I grab the book I use.
Leah says, it's good to know timing. After 11 books, I figured out some things and have a better idea of how long things take me, way longer than I expected. Yeah, agreed. Rhonda says, I just posted a picture of my bullet journal Kanban board on our Instagram page. Post a pic of yours and tag us so we can see. Yeah, we would love to see that. So,
yeah.
All right. Any last words before we move on, Tina?
No, I think that's it.
I have some.
Okay,
great.
great.
I have one more thing I want to show you. I was doing my devotions the other day, and part of my conversation with God was that he had me imagine myself in a field of daisies with butterflies. So I went out and got daisies and butterflies and put them in a vase. I can't get them in front of the camera. There we go.
There you go. That's cool.
So I have that on my desk too. So that makes me feel like that's my happy place. So there we go. That's it. That's all I have to say.
All right, Jamie.
I just would like to say that one of the things I find so beautiful about this podcast and about the writing community that God has blessed me with is the ability for each of us to be different and still be loved. So many times people see someone else's strategy to actually get the job done. And that's what this is. And they think, I must do it exactly like Susie Q. And if someone deviates from the plan, then Susie Q suddenly becomes a hater, like, you're not doing it right. I mean, I don't know if my words are making sense, but I feel like all of this kind of started with Tina's journey to understand herself and who she is who Tina is, because Tina, like all of us, is the handiwork of a great creator who made her for a specific purpose and a specific reason, and used a particular blend of herbs and spices that he did not repeat. And so I feel like it's amazing that the more she gets to know herself and who she is and honor that, the more productive she is becoming. And I feel like the secret to all of this is to start to know who you are, figure out who you are, and what you need to do the things that God has put you on the earth to do. It's not go follow this person's system or even go follow what we say to do. It's figuring out how you can be salt and light in the package that you are, because that's your purpose, is to glorify God.
I agree.
Preach it.
Yes. And we all are so individual, which always shows up when we do our feeding of the back time, which is a great transition because we are about to go into that. So every week we have a prompt. And with this prompt, we all four of us write the same from the same prompt, and it always comes out so individual. But then we turn around and we share them live on the show, unedited. So we only are looking for positive and encouraging feedback for each other. And so we're going to move into that right now. And Jamie, since you were such a wise sage right then, we would love to hear how your writing went this time and share with us what the prompt is this week.
All right. Oh my goodness, I closed it. I'll find it really quick. Someone stall. Talk about maybe the book we wrote about writing sprint prompts.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I
I
can...
wish I could get my hands on it real quick here, but you know.
I don't even have a physical copy. I'm a
What?
terrible author.
Tina!
So we wrote a book. It is a short and sweet workbook. You can get it on Amazon, and it is 30 days of writing sprint prompts. And it is to help you get in the habit of writing every single day. And it's the same style that we do here with the type of prompts that we do. And you'll also see some actual examples of our writing from actual sprints that we did here on the podcast. So check it out on Amazon. 30 days of writing sprint prompts by the Christian Indie Writers.
All right. And thank you for the filler time, because I was able to pull up my document. Okay. So today we had to use the following 5 words in our story, or wave at them on the way past, is what I always say. The 5 words were resolution, explosion, compete, lifestyle, and fever. And yay for me, I think I got 3 out of 5 this time. Usually one of them inspires me and I hardly include it. It ends up being just a springboard. So I'll warn you, the word fever was the prompt for this. So I really do not want to start any controversy with this, but here we go. I've got to test negative before they'll let me return to work. Gladys stood at the sink, stirring cream into a half dozen eggs, wondering if the bread had gone bad or if she was going to be able to serve toast to her guests. Are you going to tell them? Clyde jerked his head to the right to indicate the guests asleep in the 2 spare bedrooms down the hallway. I told Sally. I figured they're her friends. If she wants to tell the rest of them, she can. Quite a decision you've made, Clyde sniffed. You tell them then, Gladys said, shrugging as she poured her eggs into the buttered pan. She began stirring them gently with the metal whisk, irritated that her plastic one had been dirtied the morning before and was not at hand for use, and that she had to whisk extra carefully to preserve the finish of her nonstick pan. The fact that it would have only taken her 15 seconds to wash the plastic one was squashed in favor of holding a grudge against Sally's friend Barb, who'd been the one to dirty it while making French toast the morning before. Some soggy toast it was, too, Gladys thought bitterly, remembering how the entirety of the household had raved about it. I think you ought to tell them, Clyde said. All of them. They deserve to know they've been exposed. I'm asymptomatic, Gladys said, whisking more furiously in spite of herself. She hated when her husband tried to tell her what to do. Still, she had to admit the idea of keeping such information from the guests in her house being a bad idea had merit. I haven't even spiked a fever. You should tell them. I'll test again. I'll keep testing until I get a negative. That's not a real solution, and you know it. The room fell into silence, save for the subtle hiss of the gas burner and the slight crackle of butter as the eggs neared completion. Grabbing a spatula from out of the drawer, Gladys gave a final scrape to the pan and plopped the eggs on a serving platter. They steamed. Gladys watched the vapors rise and thought about hopes and dreams and plans and how her life was but a vapor, and wished she had married someone who could understand those sorts of thoughts and could engage her on them. She reached for a plate and set it on top of the eggs to keep them hot as she checked the bread. Still good. She felt the stick of butter on the counter. Rock solid. She cursed and popped the stick into the microwave. Bad idea, Clyde offered, and Gladys bit her lip to keep from responding. She wanted to say she knew what she was doing and that she microwaved butter all the time to butter his blasted breakfast every workday for the past 25 years. But she didn't. It was one for the keeping my resolutions column. She flipped the stick after 5 seconds and gave it another 5, then smiled satisfactorily at the perfectly softened results. She popped 4 slices of bread into the toaster. Mind the settings, Clyde offered from his seat. Resolutions went out the window in an explosion of words. Why don't you cook the breakfast? She shrieked. Calm down, Clyde said, rolling his eyes. Stop telling me what to do and I will, Gladys snipped. Look, I just want you to do the right thing. I'm not telling your guests my personal information. I'm not telling our guests my personal information just because you want me to. What's going on, guys? A disheveled, slippered, and peep-eyed Barb had scuffed silently into the room. Nothing, Gladys said. If you say so, Clyde responded. Well, good morning, Barb chirped. And good morning to you, early bird. Gladys wanted to spit, watching the two of them chatter about current events and TV shows. When the room fell silent, she considered filling it with what she really thought of Sally and her friends and Barb's French toast. Instead, she said, I've made some eggs.
Wow. First of all, the number of words that you come up with. I know I say this all the time, but in 15 minutes, it's just amazing. But second of all, this is not even about like being sick or not being sick. It's about the personal relationships with these people. And you are always so good at that. So well done. And my favorite is when Barb came in the room and your description of her quickly, succinctly. Can you read that sentence again? Peep-eyed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Sorry. She flipped the eggs, blah, 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 blah. What's going on, guys? A disheveled, slippered, and peep-eyed Barb had scuffed silently into the room.
So great description. And then scuffed into the room, like just perfect. Like I see her, I hear her, like
she's got
so well
great
done.
big fuzzy slippers on. That's
with
why
the
it's
soles on them
scuffing.
because she's scuffed
Yeah,
in the room. You hear it. Yeah. Just you don't have to tell us what her slippers look like. We know. We hear them. We feel them. Like we know. Just so well done, Jamie.
And you perfectly channeled my attitude toward my husband telling me what to do. I don't know. I don't know how you got in my brain.
Gigi says, awesome, Jamie. I want to smack Clyde and eat eggs with toast. You pulled me right in. I love your story. Yeah, I'm hungry now for eggs and toast. Thank you so much. Teresa says, so relatable, Jamie. Shell says, yes, so great, Jamie. Agree with Jen. Perfect descriptions. And Rana says, oh, Jamie, I can totally relate. Excellent setting. Yeah, well done.
Thanks,
very well done.
Everyone.
Awesome.
Thanks.
And I don't want to follow that, but I'm going to have to follow that. So you don't have to so much talky from me. But I used all of the words except compete. Did not get. I don't think I used compete. Maybe.
Yeah, we generate these words randomly, and what a random bunch they were, huh?
Yeah. So for me, I've done this type of writing before. This is only dialogue. I give you nothing but dialogue. And I often do this when I'm writing too. Like if I get an inspiration of a conversation, I'll just do the dialogue and then I go back in and I fill in the other stuff later sometimes. So you'll get more because I'm reading it out loud than I think you would if you read it silently. But all right, so here it is. Please tell me you're not a resolution person. It's not just a resolution. It's a lifestyle change. A lifestyle change that just happens to coincide with January 1st. So what if it does? I hate this time of year. The explosion of weight loss and gym membership commercials everywhere you look drives me crazy. It's like the world has get skinny quick fever all at once. Seriously, if a person wanted to lose weight, they don't have to start in January. What's wrong with March or April? Is that what you're waiting for? March or April? Well, no, I suppose. You can cut the baloney. I saw the package that arrived from that workout company, Beach something. You're just as lame as I am. I didn't say you were lame. This whole conversation is about resolutions and lifestyle changes. Yet that is exactly what you're about to do. Start a workout routine. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Then why did you order the workout DVDs? For you. For me. Yeah, I thought they'd be good for you. Huh. And just like that, I'm about to lose 200 pounds of dead weight. I had minutes to spare, but I'm like, done. That's the end.
What's with all the
That's very
husbands and
good.
the foot and mouth syndrome?
I don't know. I don't know if he was the. I know I gave him a male voice, kind of. I don't know which one was which. I don't know. I was just a writing exercise. I don't plan on using this anywhere.
That was definitely a man thing to say.
It's a man thing to do, to buy weight loss anything for another person.
Our pastor.
Well, I don't mean to really, really paint men with a broad brush, but it's funny. It's really funny.
A former
sometimes
pastor of ours.
stereotypes are things for a reason.
Yeah. The Sunday after Christmas one year, a former pastor of mine got up and talked about his gift to his wife was a Wii Fit. And every woman in the room went, what? Like groaned. And like the men are like, what? Like they really didn't. Like the men are like, what? And the women are like, oh. And he's like, hold on, it's what she asked for, but still,
yes,
get it for her. Don't make it a Christmas present.
Yes, I remember when the Peloton first came out, and women were actually asking for it, and then it was like, kind of funny because it was the one time that you could buy something that way and get a good husband sticker for it.
Peloton actually made a commercial about the husband getting his wife a Peloton, and like she's like all offended.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. And I think they had to take it down. I think that was controversial.
I remember the commercial they had where the husband got it for the wife, but he was using it before Christmas, and then she had then they had another commercial that was her perspective. She realized he'd gotten it and she found where it was stashed, so she was using it before Christmas, and they're both acting like they didn't. Like that was cute. So Leah says, Jen, me same dialogue is a good start. I got a laughing face from Teresa and the LOL from Rhonda. Gigi says, Jennifer, that's so amazing. Ew, the exercise videos, the 200-pound dead weight. So good. Thank you. Leah says, men, to show love to each other, they insult each other. It's not a good habit when they play with women. It doesn't go well. I don't know. I think that my love language is sarcasm, and I basically insult these ladies on a regular because I love them. So, Teresa says, same with the Roomba. Don't buy cleaning products. And even if you think they really want that stand mixer, just buy it for them, but don't make it their Christmas present.
Right. We have a joke that we say our family motto is, if we don't pick on you, we don't like you.
Right. Same. So. All right, Tina, we said the best for last. Let's hear yours.
Okay, I used all the words.
Yay.
Yay.
And I have been intellecting on one of my red light issues was a side character I had in the book that I did not complete his story arc. Mm-hmm. And so I've been thinking about him a lot. So he ended up in this sprint. So
awesome.
Here we go. In the time before the sky was lit up from an explosion of bad magic, when people far away lived in wigwams that touched the sky and lived a lifestyle that made Mother Earth sick, a fever came and made many people sick. It wasn't a fever of the body, but a fever of the soul. They had a ravenous hunger for things to put in their tall wigwams and fancy cloth they draped on their bodies. They worked and toiled long hours every day only to get more of these things. They gave little thought to what they were putting into their bodies, and because of that, they were sickly and weak. That is why, when the great catastrophe happened, many of them did not survive. They had forgotten how to hunt and till the soil. They had forgotten the old ways, and because of this, their children perished. They were forced to compete with evil people who would take everything for themselves, and when they lost, they froze and starved and fell victim to violence. We preserve the old ways. We teach them to you so that you may have a long life and teach your children and your grandchildren to do the same. Today, we will learn about our dearest friend, the caribou. Thomas sat cross-legged on the floor, elbows on knees and chin resting on his fists. He soaked in every word of what old Lady Catherine was saying, eager to learn to be a man. He imagined himself running through the trees after the caribou, his spear in his hand. he would feel the strength and speed in his legs and know that he was keeping his family alive. He would honor the animal that sacrificed itself for his survival by having his wife make him a fine pair of breeches and a hunting jacket from its hide. Thomas was so caught up in the daydream that he missed the resolution of old Catherine's story, and it was only when the other children had run outside and he was alone on the floor that he realized it. He looked up to find Catherine smiling at him. "Your uncle tells me that you are a quick learner. You will make a fine hunter one day." Thomas grinned and puffed his chest up, nodding at her in respect before he ran outside to join the other boys, where they played hunting games among the trees surrounding the small schoolroom.
Love. And here's what I
Mhm.
love the most is that without you telling me that this was like a indigenous people like storytelling time, it had that feel, the words were authentic to it, like, and I'm right, correct? Like it was a
Mhm.
story time. Yeah. Well done, Tina. I really like
Thanks.
that.
Mhm.
You really have the feel for that. You really know how to set that stage.
I
Yeah,
watched a lot
and
of YouTube videos of people telling stories.
Oh, that's cool.
that
And
must
so,
be what it
like, I
is, yeah.
just soaked them in. I watched maybe 50 of them.
Right.
Mhm.
Leah says, Tina, wow, just wow.
Thanks.
Yeah, how many words was that, Bambina?
Oh, I have
You're
no idea.
verbose also during our sprints.
Word
just-
count is
just sarcastic.
416.
How
Jen,
much?
416.
In 15 minutes. That's really good. So you two are verbose and I'm just snappy. Lost 200 pounds like that.
well, I think that, like, I want to know, Jen, did you have the punchline in mind when you?
No.
No.
I had no idea. Sometimes I do, but I had no idea where I was going. Like, and then the fact that he bought that, I'm like, but why did he buy it? As I'm writing, I'm like, oh, I know why he bought it. And so that's just where it headed to.
Mm-hmm.
So
Got it.
that's what's the great thing about sprints. I am not a pantser. I am totally a plotter. But writing to a certain extent, even if you're a plotter, is pantsing. Like you sit down and like you discover a lot of your story. And so that's why it's so good to do writing sprints and
write
pomodoro's
every
and things.
day,
And
right?
write
I
every
mean, that's
day.
why
And
we
I
wrote our
don't.
book.
I know. And I get to get back into it, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. So Tina, Gigi says, that was great. I relate to Thomas. I was that kid so lost in the story. Love it. Teresa says, can't wait for book 2. And Rhonda says, Tina, I love that story. Yeah, me too.
Thanks, guys. I was
Yeah.
that kid too. Like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
when the story would end, I would just keep going in my head.
Yep, that's awesome.
And now you get to be the storyteller. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
God knew what he was doing, making you the way he made you, right?
Yep.
All right. So we are running short on time, but we do want to make sure that we spend some time talking about our what's next. Just like we start every episode with a what's up, we end every episode with a what's next, where we share what's going to be happening this next week for us, try to keep each other accountable, and and whatnot. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to pass it to you, Tina. What's next for you?
Well, immediately after this podcast, my husband got my daughter and I a joint Christmas present this year, and it is for a mani-pedi at this Somerset salon.
Aw,
And so we're
nice.
gonna go get our nails did, and so we're going to do that. But then starting Monday, it's just working the plan that I've been working, getting those red light issues done. And when I got red light issues done, I'm moving on to yellow.
That's
So
awesome.
if I'm right, I should have my revision done by the end of this month.
Nice.
My plan is to be ready to publish at the end of the quarter. So, but like I said, I have like the time that I need to do these things is like changing on a daily basis because some things aren't taking as long as I thought they would. Like all this stuff that I already have done, I thought was going to take a couple weeks, and I actually got it done in 2 days.
That's awesome.
Whereas I gave myself a week and a half for the red light issues, and it's going to take me more like 2.
Mhm.
So there's just following the plan. That's my plan.
Well, speaking of the plan, I'm going to move into my what's next based on that. My plan is to start trying this plan. So I have this little kind of temporary board that I've set up, and I am going to get ready on the Post-it notes. I've already figured out how many days a month I have. So now my next thing is to figure out what blocks of time I actually have available in those days and then start and I got to figure out what my goal is. Like right now, like in my mind it's just like, okay, book 4. Yeah, but be more specific. Like I don't even know what Post knows to do at this point with book 4 other than just editing. Like just edit, Jen, just edit. And I think I need to be more like really focused on what does that mean and what do I have to do to actually get across that finish line for editing. So
You know
Have
what
you
I
thought of
did, just as a hint, is like I had up here step 2, do revision.
mhm.
But then when I sat down to do the revision, there was a lot of little steps that I realized I had to do, and as they come up, I made sticky notes for them
Oh,
instead of making myself think about that beforehand. As it came up, I made the sticky notes. I put them on the board.
okay. Good. What were you gonna
I was
say,
just
Jamie?
Yeah, I was going to say, have you tried reverse engineering? For example, if you want to launch the book for Christmas this year, that means you have to have this done by this day. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
I guess, do you have a goal of when you would like to see the book published? And then you could work backwards from there. Just a suggestion.
Yeah. I don't have a goal. I mean, because that's how I've done every other book. And I just want to get this book done and like not be rushed to try to finish it. Like I want to like have everything done and then have a peaceful launch, if that makes sense. So like get everything done and then just start writing the next one and figure out the launch, later. So that's kind of where I'm at. So, but that is a good idea. That's how I figured out like my publishing launching whole schedule was I reverse engineered it. Like as I was doing things, I wrote them down and. Leah's What's Next? Contemplating the MTB, manuscript time block, something from Becca Syme. I like the idea of it. No matter what I am doing, if I touch the manuscript, it counts as progress. Teresa says, What's next? Refocusing in the new year, digging deeper into God's word and making time to write something, anything. I have no clue what yet. Creative. Good. Let's see. Gigi says, just have to say how much I've missed the podcast these past 2 weeks. I feel motivated to get back to writing. Thank you, ladies, so much. Going to fix eggs and toast for my what's next. All right,
Mm.
Jamie, what's next for you?
Well, the only goal so far that I have is to try to have to pay for Mailer Lite by this time next year, which means I need to pick up about 300 subscribers, I think, if I understand how the billing works. So I would like to encourage everybody, if you're not already a subscriber to my author newsletter, it's www.writingshorts.net because I write short fiction. So it's writing like writing with a pen or pencil, shorts like pants, not shorts, not pants.net. And if you go there, you will not only get a free copy of A Knight's Gift, which isn't available for sale anywhere. You can only get it by being one of my subscribers. You'll also get a free short story sent to your email every month. I include a free short story with every issue of the newsletter, and spread the word to any of your friends who like to read, because in the newsletter, I also include swaps that I'm involved in, which give links to lots of free books. Not all of them are Christian or clean, but they are all free. And all you have to do is sign up for that particular author's newsletter. So www.writingshorts.net to get yourself some free reads and help me reach my goal of 300 new subscribers by the end of the year. It feels weird to even say it because I don't like to announce goals that I don't think I can meet, but this is one of those goals where you shoot for the moon and you land among the stars, because if I end the year with 100 new subscribers, that will be happy fun time for me. Oh, you're muted.
I think you can easily get that. I'm not the least bit concerned with you with that. And that's a really great transition for us too, to encourage everybody to tune in next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about subscription services, when to keep a subscription service and when to pull the plug on it as an author. You could literally get yourself subscribed to everything. But so that's what to look forward to for next week. But until then, may your pen be prolific. May your deadlines be met. And may all of your words honor Christ. Bye, everyone.
Bye.